guys, welcome back. It just feels like a gray day. Today is Wednesday. I always film these a day before I post them. So if you are watching this the day it posted, it's Thursday, but I filmed it on Wednesday and it's such a gray day. It felt like a hoodie day, but luckily look, woo. So I was just thinking the other day how lucky we are that we had that field trip before all of this happened and how sad we would have been if we couldn't go on our trip. Oh, it would have been terrible. I have a double shout out today. So first, Cartemis, thank you for jumping into our courses and being a part of Canvas discussion. Please remember, you should be living in Canvas. You should be looking at the regular 5th grade class, the one with this constellation on it. You should be looking at our reading class, and you should be looking at our math class. I went and I revised the math class if you're one of those kiddos who doesn't have math with me, and we found out we can add teachers to the classes. So if you are a teacher or a student who has math with Ms. Nosky, or if you have math with Ms. Kudlow, they are going to be able to add assignments into the math course so that you get the assignment that's meant for you and just assign it to you. So you're getting the work that you need at your level. So just keep that in mind, that you really should be checking those because there's assignments on there. You should also be looking for a to-do list. Mine pops up on the side. I assume it signs up on yours. If you click into a course, you could see what you still have to do. If it's not checked off or says it's done, then it's something that you need to take care of. So I'll be nice and I will not post on the weekends, but come on. So Cartemis, thanks again for jumping into the discussion post and joining our class. We miss you and it's nice to hear from you, even if it's just words on a screen. Like, I miss you guys so much. And a second shout out goes to Michaela and Naomi, because I heard from your mom that you guys are watching the videos together, which just makes me so happy. I'm stealing a student from Mr. A. I'm just kidding. I'm sure you guys are just in the same room, so it's what happens. Anyway, I really miss you guys, and it's nice to hear from you. I wish I heard from you more on Canvas, so I know you're alive and kicking and what's going on. So please, please, please use that as a platform to contact us and share. We miss you. We miss all of you, all of us, even those people that drive us crazy in class. I think at this point, everybody's like, I wonder what that kid's doing, because we're not together and we're stuck in our houses and our families, which is great, but I really miss our friendships and our connections and just, laughing in class about something silly somebody did or something somebody said. So anyway, connect on Canvas, please. We're going to go ahead and jump in and talk about decimals today. And this is a review. Nothing I've taught you or been reteaching you has been new. It's all been stuff that we've gone over at the beginning of the year. We're going a little bit faster, but I'm also cutting out like a lot of stuff that I'm like, meh, boring. So we're jumping into decimals, specifically looking at place value today. All right, so here we are looking at place value. Here's my little rink-a-dink chart. It's nothing special. But when we talk about place value, what we're really saying is that where a number is inside of a number actually has meaning. Like, we all read numbers the same way because we've all agreed that if you put a number in a spot, that represents something. It's not just a random assortment of numbers. So for example, if I'm doing the number 362 and there's my decimal, 400, sorry, I'm trying not to repeat numbers, 15 thousandths, because it's a last digit, ends in the thousandths place, then that's how I read that number. That 3 doesn't mean just 3 anything. It means 3 hundreds because it's in the 300 or it's in the hundred spot away from my decimal. So all of the numbers that we're talking about the value of the number. How much is it worth? Okay, that's what the place value is representing. So over here's my thousands. My thousands place. Whatever value I have, I multiply that times 1,000 to represent its value. So if I put a 7 here in my example, this is 7 times 1,000, which is why it represents 7,000. Okay, this is my hundreds place. So whatever value I have times 100. Here's my tens. Whatever value I have times 10 represents the place value. So I have 6 tens here. So 6 times 10 is 60. This 6 actually represents 60, not 6. Here's my ones. Here, however value I have times 1 represents my ones. So 2 times 1 means that this is worth 2. Then to the decimal side. This is where kids get so hung up. Just remember, it's the exact same, only it's fractions, because decimals represent a fraction of a number. So here, my place value times, how do we read this number? After the decimal, we call that the tenths. So this is times 1/10. Okay, this is my tenths place with the spitting. Remember the ths in class? Here's my hundredths. Okay, place value times 100th. And then finally my thousandths. The place value, times 1,000th represents its value as a number. Okay. Now, as you go through, you can kind of see a pattern, right? These are growing by adding zeros. These are getting smaller by adding zeros. You'll notice, though, that the ones is kind of unique. There is no oneths place, okay? The only place a ones value exists is right here. These all start repeating out. So over here after the thousands comes 10,000s, which means next comes 10,000ths. Over here again comes 100,000s, so that means over here again comes 100,000ths. The place value continues to expand on either side. It expands forever until you run out of names for what to call them, but it just keeps going because you can just keep adding a 1 to make it bigger. All right, in the middle, separating my whole numbers, the numbers that don't have fractional parts, and the parts that do have fractional parts, is called the decimal. When we read it, we use the word and, okay? That's why we spend a lot of time teaching students that you don't call that 104, because 104 means this, okay? Not this. This is 104. This is 104, well, technically 4/10. Okay, so the and is a decimal signal. So please don't use and unless you mean that's where the decimal goes. All right, after we talked about place value, now we're going to look at the different ways we can represent a number. Sorry, let me straighten that out. So standard form is a number just written like this without any words or anything other than numbers and symbols. So let's practice this with 35 and 26 thousandths. This is 26 thousandths. The reason why I call it 26 thousandths is because the last digit ends in the thousandths place. That's how the number gets its name, is where the last digit shows up in the number. Okay, if the number stopped here, it'd be on 200ths. If the number stopped here, there's no value in the tenths, so that would be the end of the number. It'd be 35. Okay, so word form. This is where you literally write what you would say to a person in words. 35, 35, and because 35 and, here's my decimal, right? And we call a decimal the word and. 26, oops, that's an I. 26, remember what I said about this last digit? It's in the thousandths place, so that's a label. And 26 thousandths. All right. Expanded form is where I take each of these place values in this number and I stretch them out. This isn't 3, it's 30. So in expanded form, I have 30 plus, this isn't just a 5, well, it is a 5, plus 5, plus, I have no tenths, so I'm going to skip over it, to the hundredths. I have 2 hundredths, plus I have a number in the thousandths place, so 006. So this is a number written out in expanded form, where I just stretch out each place value and put them together. Now, here's the one that kids get very tricked by, but it's so very, very easy. What I'm going to do is use all of these to write the number, okay? So I don't have any thousandths or hundreds, so I'm going to skip down to tens. I have 3 for a value of 10. So I have 3 times 10. That represents 30 because 3 times 10 is 30. I'm just going to put a group around it so I can show it as 30. Plus, I have 5 in the ones place. Plus, I have no tenths, so I'm going to skip over it, but I do have 2 in the hundredths place. So I have 2 in the fraction of 100 because it's in the hundredths place. This is a symbol I use. So this is a symbol I'm going to use for the thousandths, those 6 thousandths hanging out. 6 times 1,000. All right. So standard numbers without any words or anything other than a decimal in the digits. Word form, spell it out. Expanded form is where you stretch each place value out. Expanded powers of 10 is where you use these things to describe the number that we are stretching out even further. All right. There'll be practice in Canvas called Lesson 8 quiz. It's just the answer key basically for the practice paper that you do. As always, I'll email those papers to your parents, so you guys should be good to go. I really miss you. Please log into Canvas and at least let me know that you're doing this stuff by taking a quiz or posting in the discussion questions or, all that jazz. Also, so you can get the next shout out, I know for sure that there's one hidden in the lesson. Ooh, now I can't remember. I can't remember if it's 6 or 7, but in the quiz for 6 or 7, there's another shout out hidden. So please, let's do it. Let me know you're around, guys. Miss you. Bye.